Bismillah. Hi, Asma. Nice to see you. Assalamu alaikum. So good to see all of you. Okay. Right. So, Bismillah. All right. Where are we going to begin? So, last week we focused on porcelain vases. We learned about traditional Chinese porcelain vase, and they have a striking characteristic of being blue and white. And they're all blue and white, but for a long period of Chinese porcelain making. And some of the history we learned was that that blue cobalt was brought all the way from Persia. So it carried along the Silk Route all the way through Persia. And so in this way, Muslims had influence on Chinese art. Chinese also had influence on Islamic art. And there was an exchange, but there's several characteristics how Muslims had this influence. One was the blue cobalt pigment, and also was the stacked pattern, the repetition of the stacked pattern that would go within the some of art historians say that was influenced by Islamic art. So whatever the case, it is all very beautiful. It's very beautiful to admire. Maybe you've seen a dish set that is blue and white, or maybe you've seen a huge vase with lighting on it, and or in the museum. But we're going to do some mini replicas today, and we're also going to do these very simple minimal flowers just to bring out the delicate beauty of the whole composition. So when I say composition refers to your layout. Okay, it refers to how you've composed it. Like you might have heard the word composition when you hear about a symphony, like you've heard of Mozart or Beethoven. So how did they compose that? They had first this instrument would enter, and then after at a certain point the next instrument would enter, and then the next instrument enters. That's the order or the structure of the music. So with art, composition is visual, so it refers to the order and the place of each thing in your art piece. Does that make sense? Yeah, it does. So the other thing is, here we have, I also have brought some cardstock, but if you have construction paper, if you want to mount, maybe I'll use these. So let's get started. If you have a brush, I had everything but my brush. So here's the composition like example, but I want to twist it up. Let's not follow something we did before. Art is always an exploration. So there's this, and this is what we did last week, okay? And just learning some different shapes and then doing some different patterns on the vases, okay? So, but we're gonna go through this part step by step. So the first thing you're gonna do is take your basic sheet of watercolor paper, and we're gonna do our background, okay? Yes, you can add in texts. I also want to show you how we're going to add some expressive marks onto our background, because this is kind of a mix between composition, drawing, and also scrapbooking or journaling. So we're just going to, have some artistic fun. I always encourage you to do your thing and give it your twist. Okay, Bismillah. So here I have my paintbrush and I have my watercolor set. Now, one thing, because my drawings on top are going to be blue, on my background, I'm going to use everything but blue. I'm not going to use blue because once I put my blue pictures on top, I want them to be distinctive from the background. So I'm going to go and do it like this. So first I get my paintbrush all wet, fill it up with water, and I'm going to pick a color like a red. I'll start with red. And I'm going to just, with watercolor, you lay the color down. You don't rub it in, okay? You let watercolor do its own job. So I put the color and then I just brought water into it, and then I just let it kind of flow. Some watercolor artists, they first wet their paper and then they lay their color. Everybody has their own way. I'm not like an expert watercolorist. I have my way of doing it, and it gives me the results I like. So I don't want those streaks. I want it look more like watercolor. So while the water's still wet, I just sort of move it around. So now it just looks like a natural puddle, right? It's like puddles just go their own way. And then, so this is red is considered a warm color. So the way I usually do backgrounds, and it's up to you, but is I usually alternate between warm colors and cool colors. Warm colors are things that are red, yellow, orange, or like a neon green. And cool colors are colors that are like blue, deep green, grays. Those are cool colors. Those are the colors you see in the winter. And then the colors you see in the summer are considered warm colors. So next to this, I'm gonna go like a purple, because that's a little cool. It's cool, right? So this red is like a hot color. It warms up your eye, but I like to just have it right next to it, a cool color. Just calm it down. Have a seat, Mr. Red. Okay. So I just put that in, and again, I'm gonna move it around because I really want the puddle effect, you know? Just puddle. So now it's puddling together, but so now I'm gonna go in with some green. And just take your time, really, because there's like a feeling, sometimes we feel like, oh, we just have to rush. I got to get the paper down because I want to do this because I got the next thing. But let's not do that. Let's just take our time, okay? So I'm going to lay in the color here. And just like move it. But I don't like how my mind is starting to follow a pattern. You know, actually the mind, it likes to follow patterns. So you have to stop the brain from doing that. You have to say, no, 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 brain, I'm not following a pattern. Watch me break the pattern here. I am gonna do this. I'm gonna bring the color out here. I'm not gonna get stuck. I started just going down in a strip there without thinking about it, because subconsciously we just follow patterns. So, but I don't want that. I want it to look, you know, natural. So I'm gonna mess up the pattern so it looks like natural, if that makes sense. So now I got some puddles. Okay, puddles. And all right, so I have red on this side of the paper, and if I don't have red anywhere else on the paper, it's gonna just like make the eyes go straight to that red. So you always have to have a balance. If you're gonna have a little red over here, we're gonna wanna put a little red over here, or what's gonna happen is all the weight of it visually is gonna go straight to the red because it's the strongest color. So it's like a scale, right? If you have something heavy on one side of the scale, you have to put something heavy on the other side of the scale to balance it out. Otherwise, it's going to tip. And the same thing happens with your eyes. So and I'm also not putting this in like a square. I want to break that. I want to allow myself to think about putting, this sort of looks like Texas or something. Anybody from Texas? And just I want to allow myself to think about making different shapes in there. So I have this red here. So in this corner, I'm going to use this to make purple. Make sure I can see your chat because yeah, it's okay. Once it dries, you can bend it back. So don't worry. Mine is bending too. You see it's warping? There might be some rules about that, but I don't know what they are. And it hasn't affected my life badly yet. So I think we're good. Once it dries, we can bend it a little bit and kind of makes it flat. And then once it's really, really dry, you can put it between something or put something on it and it will flatten definitely. So now I have this here, and I want something yellow right now. I want to put yellow in. Okay. let's see, I'm gonna go yellow here. And if you get drips in other places, that's beautiful. That's fun. I don't know. There's so many, just allow the color to find its home. Okay, so I have this, and I'm also going to put a little bit of orange here. So I got red, orange, and yellow. So orange is the mix of red and yellow. So it kind of looks nice with it between there. But I'm noticing I'm seeing my brush strokes too much, so I wanted more puddles, so I'm just gonna. And I'm even gonna go this way. Yes. Now I have, okay. So now I see I have some cool colors down there and I have some warm colors. Now I'm gonna go back up here in the right, upper right over here and go into some cool colors. Just calm it down. Around the two edges are cool and the other two edges are warm. So I think our scale is balanced. We're avoiding blue, but if you put blue, like, don't worry. The reason we're avoiding blue is because we want our pictures on top to stick out as the distinctive blue. That's all, like, that was just something I made up. It's not a rule. I just thought it would present more contrast for us as we create our composition, but it's not a rule or anything that you can't have blue on a background and then you can't put something else blue. Let's see. So what color should I put next? I don't know if I want to introduce a new color at this point, but I know I could use another orange because I have orange over here. So I think I'll put orange over here. And I don't want those meeting parts to like look like hard edges. So I'm going to kind of puddle up some water there so that they melt together. Yes. And even if the colors blend a little bit and you don't know what's going to happen, well, that's fine. The unexpected twist. And I'm just letting it like drip down a little bit because that's going to give us a little movement there. So you got that pretty drip, kind of like rain on a windowsill. Just let it flow. And wow, I got this big section here. Where am I going to put? I think I'm going to go, I had some purple over here. So I'm going to go with this purple over here. Yes. Hi, purple. How are you? I left you in the corner all alone. Let me give you a friend over here. Okay. All right, and now we have this other section here. And I think I'll go some yellow once I put more purple because I have some yellow over here and also that's all by itself and we want to balance our scales. So let's put on some yellow over here and then I think we'll have some harmony. I don't know how well like it's showing up on your screen, but you should see a pale sort of colorful wash, mixed colors. So I'm going to put some yellow in that empty spot. And then I think we'll put it aside while we prepare the next portion. And if like you feel like you want to go in and like add a little more color at any point and make it, you know, bolder or anything, or just add a little pinch of yellow over there. Maybe I just put a little bit over there. And I want, when you look at art, there's two things artists do to use color, is that they'll use contrast colors so that your eyes are forced to look in a different in the direction that the artist wants you to look. So did you know that yellow and black has the highest optical contrast to the human eye? So that's why when they make warning signs, yes, when they make warning signs, they make it yellow and black because it has, so artists do the same thing. So sometimes like an artist might paint something and they want the person looking at it to look at the apple. So they put the apple surrounded by green, which is its opposite on the color wheel. That's the opposite color. So that makes the eye visually go. It's like you can't change that about the eye. It just has a science of itself. So this is like the science of colors and how they work on the eye. So it's sort of nice to have a balance and also, you know, understand a little bit about color. Do you all have a favorite color that you like to color with or draw with? Okay. Pink. Oh, I love pink. Orange. Oh, orange. You're probably the first person I ever met that said orange is their favorite color. D. Okay. I see you, D. You like orange. That's cool. Purple. And blue. Okay. All right. So here's the background. And I'm just going to let this sit over and just dry in its own way while we're going to prepare. So where am I going to put it is the question. I'm going to put it somewhere, and I advise you to put it somewhere where it's not going to, even though it's watercolor, it's not going to hurt anything. I'm just going to place it on top of another, on the back side of my my cardstock. So it just, you know, it's not going to make a mark. I don't have to clean up. Okay, that's drying. Now, and your other brother's green. So you're orange, blue, and green. Cool. Okay, what's next? Now we're going to start to make our cards that we're going to be drawing our vases on. Okay, Maripot, take your time. I did figure that people are still kind of finishing up, so I'll give you a few minutes. Okay, so what you need next, oh, I see Asma with the hair dryer. She's got the setup. Okay, getting ahead. So, okay, so Alia and Sophia. So take your next sheet of paper and we're gonna cut it into random shapes. And so if you watch me, I'm gonna we're gonna have squares, rectangles of different sizes, and long rectangles, short rectangles, squares, big and small, and circles. So to get a circle, if you have a cup handy or anything round, like a jar where you hold your pencils in or anything, just grab that. That's a good thing to use to trace. But I'm gonna show some cutting, and Mary Pat, don't worry, you can catch up. So I'm gonna cut into the second sheet. And I'm just going to cut a straight strip right here. That's it. So I have this. But that's going to be a little bit big on my, you know, on my background because it's the whole, you know, it's the whole bottom width of it. So I want to cut it down to about this big. And then I want to make sure it's basically straight. So I didn't cut totally straight. So now I'm fixing that. So now I have this thing, long rectangle. Okay, right here. And so now we're considering these like our next canvas. I guess we could say this is our drawing canvas now. And I keep trying to make it straight. Okay, No, I made it straight. And I'm going to make a single one, maybe like this big. I have this one here. That'll be another little canvas. And then, you know, I think I'll keep one this size because I like that size. But I'm not sure I'm going to use it. Okay. So I'm just putting it there. We're going to draw some different things and then we're going to pick and choose what we want to put on. So now I think maybe these are all sort of the same width. So I'm going to make something, it can't be too narrow because we have to draw the vase, but we might do a stem or something. So I'm going to make another strip, but it's going to be more narrow. That's another thing about art. You want to have some diversity. If it's all the same thing over and over and over, you want to have something that kind of changes the pattern. It makes it interesting. So I have this big strip. I think it will look nice with like a big vine or, you know, branch. Inshallah. And just straighten it out. Let me see, it's the chat. Okay, so Mary Pot, are you caught up with the watercolor background? So these are some different canvas size I'm cutting out. And then this one just happened to be on the end. This one might look cute for something. And I'm gonna do something round. I just need something round to use. Let me get something. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to use this. That's a bit small. The top side is smaller than the bottom. So the bottom might present me some issues with tracing because it has like a rounded edge. So I'm just going to use this part. And I'm going to use my pencil and just trace it. I mean, if you can draw a wonderful circle, go for it. But I guess I struggle with making just drawing a perfect circle or even just cutting one. So I have a rough even circle here and I'm going to cut it out. Sure, Asma. So just to summarize, we're just cutting out different shapes. Any of these little shapes and stuff, we're just cutting them out. So it's really at your pace and in your style. So there's no like strict rules here, but definitely I'm just kind of just cutting around here, and feel free to take your time. There we go. I'm going to do another circle, but I'm going to make it smaller. And again, you don't have to be at the same place I'm at making a circle. You might be still cutting something else and you're going to get to a circle, but there'll be enough time. Inshallah. And if people want to get really like fun and, you know, try out different stuff, you can even just cut out interesting shapes, you know, if you want to. Like if you had some shape like this, you might like that in your composition. I'll just put it there. So you can consider that if you enjoy that. Yay, Asma, looks great. Good. Those are lovely. Yeah, oftentimes these shapes will come off just like the cutout from like these corners that I got. I could just cut off the edge here and it's already made. Oh, nice. Oh, that's so pretty, Sophia. Wow, look at that. Gorgeous. Yes. So I only use half of my paper. I still have this watercolor paper, so I could make something with this another day. I think these will be enough pieces for me to work, to play around with. Oh, that's a cool shape, Asma. Oh, Amira, that's gorgeous. My goodness, it looks like a like a like a garden of flowers. It looks like that's what a garden of flowers would look like to a bee, so close up that it sees all the colors. So pretty. How are people doing with their shape cutouts? I don't want to move ahead until, you know, everyone isn't just done, but they feel comfortable. I don't want anyone to rush. I see you're still working, Asma. I know. But I was wondering where anyone else is. If anyone's done, but they're bored, they don't want to wait, you can just grab a scrap piece of paper and just get your hand, I don't know, warmed up for drawing. Let me get a piece of paper too. Okay, so take your time. It's just hard for me to gauge and I don't want to hold anyone back. Okay. I made these, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 6, 5, 6 is going to be enough and extra, because once you have some different pictures, then you can play around and pick and choose. So just getting my charge going. Oh, good. Yeah, that's right. You can use those. It is recording. Yes, it's recording. So I can save it and share the link. I'm not always the best with following up and with posting my recordings. That's an area I really want to work on, inshallah. I get so into making the art and doing the art and then following up and filing it and keeping it and sharing it. I don't know. You don't know if your article will dry in time? Oh, we're not even close to it. So if it's still wet, you can just take a napkin and pat it out. But if it's really, really wet, yeah, you're gonna want to pat it out a little bit with a napkin. Then it will dry in time, because we have time for it to dry. Inshallah. Yeah, mine's still a little bit damp, but it's getting closer to dry. Your dad is an artist and he makes books. Wow, that's amazing. What kind of books? Like hand? He makes his books by hand? He binds books? We should have your dad on here sometime to give us a class. How to make a book. That's an ancient science. That's like an ancient knowledge back to the Greeks. Sure, you can use pink. I think making a book would take a lot of patience. And I also think working with clay takes a lot of patience. I like watching people make things out of clay, but myself, I just don't know if I have the patience. I tend to like art that doesn't take so long. Some art pieces, like people who make very detailed art or people who use oil paints are the old kind of paints, and those you have to wait several days between your layers to let it dry. And I don't know, by then I'm sort of excited about like doing a different piece of art. So I think that just it's a personality type maybe. He illustrates and writes them, then scans them into the computer, and then he has to do a lot of other steps until the book is done. Wow, okay, so he's an illustrator and a writer and a bookmaker. That's amazing. Does he write any books that we know about? What's the topic? Your mom and dad's website is called Minaret Mountain Books. Okay, shout out Minaret Mountain Books. Everybody check it out. Put the link up here, Dee, for the link, their website. Everyone check it out. You made a fish out of clay, but it takes a week to dry. Yes, again, it takes a week to dry. But you know those clay projects you make when you're young and you're in school or whatever, your homeschool, or you keep them for life. Honestly, that stuff your mom or dad will keep it, and you'll see it when you're 18, then you're 20, then you're 25, and you'll look back, it's like, wow, I made that when I was 6 or 7, 8, and it's really a memory. So those clay projects, they really last. Aqida. Oh, your actual name is Aqida. Oh, wow. MashaAllah. Is that one of their books? Oh, wow, how awesome. My goodness. Wow. Maybe if we have time in the end, if maybe one of you can get on here, I can see if I can co-share. I know that's the thing. So and somebody can read a book out loud, like do a story. Inshallah. If we're going to do that, let's move along now and do our illustration. Okay, of our vases. Minaret Mountain Books. Okay, so let's get back here. We're going to make these vases. Okay, so on this one, I'm going to make 2. So again, let me show you my reference. These are super large right here, these ones. And these ones, I just scaled them into the size. But basically, the same shapes, the same patterns. These are a little bit less patterned because they're so small. You can only do so much. I really just wanted to go for simplicity. So just as that as a reference, let's do some on our little cards. We'll do some vases and then we'll do some branches. Okay, so I want to think about the spacing because I'm gonna have 2 vases. So I you can use like, okay, it's gonna have like a finger width apart. So I can put one here, just make a mark. And if it's about that wide, then I'll put about there. So now I have like 2 little marks. So I know that they're gonna be about proper distance apart from each other. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with pencil first, and then I'll go back with the blue. I'm gonna make a light sketch with a pencil. Let me zoom in. So we're just gonna do the most simple shapes first, okay? So I just make this thin little loop here. And I'm gonna go down here like this and down here like this to make the first vase. And I'm gonna make the bottom like that. So the bottom, you just curve the line a little bit so it gives the round effect. And then I just made another, like they have it on a little stander, like that. Okay, so that's one. And now I'm going to make another type of shape. This one, I think I'll make it with a little closer. It has like a lid. So it's like a bulb like that. And then I make that. So it looks like that so far. So make that shape. That. So now we want to show that it's kind of going behind there. So just go like that to close it. All right, and now let's see. I didn't think it all the way through. I'm just kind of going through with this, okay? So I'm gonna go this way and here, and then I'm gonna make it like this or something. Why not? So this is like a sort of different type of shape. That's a little bit too like in. So I'm gonna make it a little less like that. Like that. And then try to make it as balanced as you can. There you go. Good, Amira, nice. Well done, you got it. All right, so let's pick up your pencil. I have a dark blue, which I'm gonna use, and I have a light blue. which I might use, but I'm going to go with the dark blue. And first thing I'm going to do is go over my lines, my gray lines, like this. I'm just going to go over them to conceal them with blue. So that's blue. It doesn't show up too well like blue, but it is blue. Yeah, you can draw your own style. Yes, Sophia, if you look at the camera, text, you want to use text? Sure. And this one, I'm going to go over the lines. And around like that. Yeah, you don't have to follow like, it's just to show, you know, like if you didn't know or want to think about your own style to do it, then you can just follow mine. But if you have your own idea, please definitely do that. Oh, can you use markers? Yes, you can use markers, just knowing that markers, you know, are very permanent. So make sure you know where you want to put your marker before you place it down. Okay, so now I have these two vases. Can I get a yippee if people have their vase shape on? Okay, Esma got a yippee. I'll just get a few more yippies and we'll move on. I think I'm going to just take inspiration from some previous designs. Okay, yippee, yippee. All right. So with this one, I'm going to make like a central emblem in the middle with some sort of petals or something going around. So I think I'll make like a shape that looks like this. Like that. And if it's uneven, I'm just going to thicken the lines to even out the two sides. And then I'm going to make some petals like this around it. And it's really the simplicity of these designs that just make it pretty. So we don't have to give it too much pattern. So last week we went in with a, you know, a lot more pattern. There we go. I'll make these blue. I'm going to fill them in so I really get that blue look. There we go. Yes, that would be really nice, Akita, to make that candle in there. I like it. Nice, Asma. Brilliant. Okay. Now this one, I'm just going to make like a little line in the middle. And give that section kind of its own distinction as the bottom of the jug. And then I'm gonna, I think I'll make a pattern that looks like in the center, sort of similar shape, 1, 2, and 3, like that. And I think in here I'll make lines. My hand's probably covering it. And then maybe I'll just leave it like that. I'm not sure. Maybe, I think I'll do another line that goes down, swoops down this way. Looks more balanced. You want to paint it? Yes, you can. We can watercolor them. We did that last week. We did 3 colored pencils and 3 colored pencils and 3 watercolored. Okay, So now I have this one done. We're going to put that aside for now. Okay. And we're going to do another. Okay. So let's do another shape. Again, we're gonna make a ring on the top, which indicates the top, like that. And then I'm just gonna make these two sides go like this first, so they match each other. Whoops, one like that, one like that. That's called, I guess, the neck of it. They call that the neck. And I'm gonna go out like this. And then you just like that. I'm going to close it and we're going to make a bottom to it. And it's a little uneven there, but that is fixable. Okay, and this one, I think I'll go over it again with the blue. And close it up. And I'm going to make these little ruffled patterns. So I'm going to go like this. And this one goes like this. And I'm going to go and make these ruffles and then color them in. Okay. And I think I want something in the middle. So I'm going to put like a swirl. No, I think I'll put a flower. So I'm going to make a flower with some petals. And I want it to sort of connect by branches from this side to this side. So I'll go like that. With some little bulbs or something. And maybe I'll make it around the ruffles around the top too, just for balance. There we go. Beautiful, Asma. That's gorgeous. Yours looks like a sack. That's okay. I mean, sometimes pots, they look like that. They do look like just like a vessel shape. Wow, that's gorgeous, Amira. Wow, well done. All right, let's make some more. And we also don't want to forget our flowers either. So let's do one more vase and then we'll do some flowers. This vase, let's make it like an angular one. So the way we did the angular one is first you make a shape that looks like this. Like that on the top. And then you just kind of, sorry. You make this line about like that, going the back toward the back. And then these, and like that. So it looks like that. Where did I put my ruler? This one, I like to use a ruler, but you don't have to. And then from there, I just go down from this side and then meet it down the same on the other side. I don't know if you were here when we drew crystals, but it was a similar type of shape when we made chiseled crystals. And then, so because where these edges are right here, we want to show those are angles. So we're going to also make a line down here and a line down here. Whoops, put it in the frame. So it looks like that. You were there, Amira? Good. Wow. That was a while ago, huh? It's a while ago. And then to close it, you make this here, and then you angle it back so it's showing the facets of the vase. Okay, and then I'm going to go over it with the blue. And go down. And then I have that. Now I'm going to make a pattern with some simple dots and lines. That's it, just dots and lines. But you don't have to use dots and lines. Okay, so now I have this vase and I have these two vases and I have, you live in the Blue Mountains and Jenolan caves are maybe an hour away. Wow, where is the Blue Mountains? I don't know. Where do you live? So I have these vases right like here. All right, and now we're gonna do some branches and some leaves. Oh, New South Wales, amazing. Oh, sure. Also, you can play a memory game with these two. So if you cut out shapes this size and then you make matching pairs. So if I make two of these and two of these and two of these and they're each on their own card, you can have a game. So it's like a flip over and you have to remember the vase. And it can get more and more subtle because these are pretty hard. You know, when you were really young, you would play the memory game, but the differences between the cards were really obvious. But it's to help. But now that you're older, you can do really subtle differences to help with, you know, memory and observation. They're always fun games. So these are the vases. Now we're going to make some branches, some basic branches. Okay. All right. So I'm going to use this long strip here, but you can use this on any surface. But basically, I'm just taking my my pencil and I go up like this, and I just kind of build one branch off another. So I went, and then I built another branch off another, and I'm gonna build. And I give them, some of them are curvy, and then sometimes I like to make like an elbow, like, because it looks like that in nature. And I want it to go right off the edge of the paper. I want it to just disappear as if it never ends. So like this. I have something like this, but yeah. Okay, and then these are the kind of little flowers I did. So let me zoom in. Okay, basically you just make a little shape like this, and then you go like this. That's it. And then I just did that over again in different kind of sizes. So this is like mama right here. And then I'm going to make little baby with mama. So, and not all of them have the baby. Some of them are just mama. Or just like here, might have just one. However it seems balanced, you know, to you. However you want that to look. And I'm going to leave it there. I don't want it to have like so many flowers because part of the beauty, like the vases, is the simplicity and the shape of the branch. It's beautiful and it's perfect and it's irregularity in that sense. It's irregular, right? But it's so beautiful. What is that? Oh, wow. Let's see. Oh, I see that, Amira. That looks gorgeous. That's so pretty. You did it exactly. So now I'm going to take one of my circle and I'm going to do the same thing. But I don't want it to be straight down the middle because I want it to kind of respect the arch of the circle. And I'm just going to kind of make these shapes that are branchy shapes. That's it. I'm leaving it there. And now I'm going to add my flowers like this. And I'll add a little baby. And the way it works in nature is that small branches always grow off bigger branches, and bigger branches do not grow off smaller branches. So if I had this small little branch, I'm not going to draw a big, thick, heavy branch off this little baby branch. And that's it. That's all I'm going to put in that one. So now I have these two. These are all my elements so far for my composition. I have these two, and I have this, and this, and this. And I'm thinking, I mean, this is enough for my composition, but maybe I'll do something just to have something else. So what I did in the other one was I drew a little vine that looked different. And I went like, it could go like this. I'm just going to go straight in with the blue on this. And I'm going to go like that and like that. But every time it goes down, I think I'll make these smaller. Get smaller. Like that. So something like that. All right, so now I have another shape. It's sort of different. And I have that. And like we could try one of these irregular shapes too. Let's see, what do I want to do? You know what? I think I'll do a negative of these type of flowers because this is like filled. So what I could do is I could make this and then keep it empty. And I'm going to color the outside of it, if that makes sense. So I'm going to keep these empty. Inside, that's going to be empty. And then I'll make the rest of it blue on the outside. Let me show you what I mean. So on this side, this is the positive image, right? This is the positive color. But now we want to have this the negative, and the positive color is going to be on the outside of the flower. Okay. And that's also what I did with my vases. So we're going back into the watercolor. If you feel like you have enough elements, then let's go back into the watercolor. And just fill it in, the background here. Now I just have this little flower. Hello, little flower. Looks like a happy flower. It is a good life here in this beautiful blue. Oh, yes. And so once you have the watercolor, we can also do the same around the vases. So it wasn't like striking enough, you know, the way it's just these vases and it's just outlines. So the way to make it a little more striking was to fill this outside part that's white, make it blue. But then it will help the white that's inside the vase really stand out. So that's what's going on now. This is the next step. And then we're going to mount them and then we're going to put them on our watercolor background, inshallah. And if you miss a little spot, it looks nice. If you don't have to fill it in and completely saturate it, it can have sort of a imperfect wash. I think it's called a wash when you just lightly spread the color on it, and it's might even leave exposed some of the whites through. It's fine. It makes it different, makes it charming. So now I have that. And do that with the other vases. Oops, out of the frame here. Oh, a tulip. Oh, I think we're done with the drawing part now, but a tulip would be very nice. I just saw your message, Akita. Oh, hold it up again, Asma. I didn't see. I missed you. Oh, beautiful. That's so narrow. Lovely. Lovely. Okay, so I'm just setting these aside, and these are also drying. Okay, so with my flowers, I didn't want to fill it all in. So what I did just to give it some contrast is I just went around the edge like this. That's the way we did it, like this. And I wasn't trying to be regular, like it's fine if it looks, because it kind of looks like the watercolors I've seen on some Asian art. It just has that really natural look like that. And I liked it like that. And I did the same around to make like a border around it. And so hot over here, but you think it's hot because you're wearing your prayer scarf and it's also really windy here. Oh, really? Yeah, I was really cold too. I put on this scarf, which is kind of not the right attire for art, but it was cold, but I turned up the heat, so now we're getting on with it. This I'm just going to do the edge. Good. So now I did these. I'm just going to wait for everyone to catch up and be with us, and then we're going to mount them, and then we'll put them into our composition. That's beautiful, Asma. Gorgeous. Okay. So do people have their watercolor done, or am I going way too fast? Oh, Zanira, we're almost like 3/4 through the class. So I'm trying to see how you can catch up. Zanira, okay, you're going to start with this. Take your paper and mix some watercolors on there in patches. You see here? So I did a little purple here and yellow over there and pink over here, some green, just some different patches of colors. Okay, can you do that? And inshallah, they'll be recording. You can. Your baby sister's favorite color is pink. Oh, pink is a very pretty color. It's between red and white. It's always comforting. Is this an okay size? I can't see you actually. Let me scroll down and find you. Let me see you. Hold it up. Yeah, that's perfect. That looks amazing. All right, so do people have extra construction paper, or do you want to mount your pictures directly on to the background? So this is one option. You can mount it directly onto the background, or we can make it more how I did mine, and we can put it on paper and then put it back onto the background. Do you have paper, like a construction paper or something you could mount your arts onto? Okay, it's white. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to leave it up to people to decide if they want to mount their art, their mini canvas art onto a background. I'm going to show the example so people know what's up, if that's what they want to do. So the way that I measure it is just kind of haphazard, but it works. And so what I do is I sort of lay this on here and I just kind of cut around it till I get an edge that's a little bit bigger than the frame. And then once it's sort of right, I just sort of fix it up from there. It's probably a better way to do it, but that's my method right now. So then I have a piece like this and I can put it on here. So it's like a frame, sort of. So I can take this piece and I can now put it on to this piece back here. And maybe some I'll put this color paper, and I also have another type of paper. I think I'll just stick to using this paper. And it's a little bit wider than I want, so I'm going to make it a little smaller. So I hope I can, people can see this. You don't have, no, you don't need colored or pattern. I just had this. So I have a packet of this paper because I do a lot of these arts. So I have this stuff, but yeah, not everybody has this stuff because, you know, it's like, comes in a different type of pack. But construction paper you might have, or even newspaper, you might use a magazine. You could use magazine and use some of the colors from the magazine to mount it on. So if you have like old magazine, or if you have a newspaper, that can also look cool with the text on the background. Yeah, there's different stuff you can mount on. Yeah. Okay, yeah, it will pop out, so you don't have to mount it at all. It's like, it will look great directly onto your background. So you know what, let's do that, okay? Let's just mount it directly onto the background. I think after that, and then we'll use the marker, the gold pen if you have it, and we'll just, and then we'll make the frame around with the pen. But if you want to mount it, then go for it. But it seems like most people aren't mounting, so I want to be with most people. Yeah, gold pencil will be great. So I'm gonna actually, before I start gluing, getting ahead of myself, okay, is I'm gonna design my layout. So I'm gonna take my pieces and I'm gonna decide where I want to put them on my, so now this is the composition time. Composition time. Okay, so I think I'm gonna have mine like this. And I might use this little guy right here, yeah. I like that little irregular little shape there. So this is where I'm going to put my pieces. Now that I have them laid out in the construct that I want them in. And Zanira, if you're just joining, you can just draw some of these vases and flowers on a separate piece of paper. And when your background is dry, you can do just what we're doing right now, okay? So now that I know where I'm going to place these, I'm just going to glue them down. And just thinking about spacing from one to the other, you know, you want to have some sort of even space that creates a sense of symmetry. And again, the balance and the scale. How is the eye balancing? If it's heavy over here, it should have a little weight over here, right? Oh, Asma, it was lovely to see you as always. See you next week, inshallah. Always a pleasure. Allah bless you, protect you, take care of you, guide you, enlighten you. I mean, love you always, inshallah. Okay, now we're going to stick this one down. Where's which one? Akita, I don't know. Which one? Oh, it's up to you. So now you can lay it anywhere you want. This is the way I decided to stick it down. And now it's up to you where you want to put the pieces. And this is where I put it. This one's a little bit, this one here. If you're, this part of my paper isn't really that dry yet. So I don't know if you're encountering that problem. Just a little more glue, and I'm just going to hold it down. Just put a little pressure on there, like I'm holding a, you know, a little Band-Aid on a little cut. Just hold, put some pressure on there, and it will stop. Okay. And the same with the corners of your pieces. Sometimes they can stick up, so just put a little extra glue and just hold it down. Give it some pressure. Okay, so far this looks like this now. I have my composition like this. I thought that one was too close to the other, so I'm moving it. I'm kind of adjusting it. That's better. Almost the same place, but here we go. Okay. And now, let's see, where's my gold pen? Always hiding that gold pen. This gold pen is actually running out of ink. I don't even know how much I'll get out of it today. I need to buy a new one. This is a good one. It's called Uniball Gold. I've had it for 6 months now, and I used it a lot. So now what we're going to do, if you see on this one, I made marks around it that just sort of look like lines to make a frame-like shape. So you just give a little bit of space and then make lines around it like this. You can see my ink is running a bit out. And go like this. So now that makes that piece of art stick out, right? It looks like a sort of custom type frame. Ish thing, not sure. I don't know if that's the word for it, frame, but it gives it some distinction, it accentuates it, let's say that. And I'm not worried about perfection. I'm just making these lines. And even if they cross over on the bottom, I like that. I think it looks nice. And I'm going to go here like that. And with the circle, you have to really take a deep breath, because with circle, you have to really go with the flow. You don't want to overthink. It's when you overthink that you lose the flow of the circle. So you have to just let your wrist go around it. Because if you try too hard on a circle, that's when it really doesn't look like a circle. You just got to let the pen go a little bit and follow the edge. There we go. And over here. So the same thing you could do with pencil, you could do this with marker, you can do this with whatever medium you have. Okay. I always put the gold pen optional, but it's a nice to have thing. And they last so long. Like if you might have to buy 2 of these a year. I mean, if you use it all the time. If you don't use it all the time, maybe once or something. And there's so many different arts that benefit from gold. I was thinking we could do some Japanese patterns sometime soon. And that also has gold pen in it. The Japanese patterns have like a lot of symbolism, and they make some really nice art. Very beautiful, you know, the kimono patterns. They have a lot of ancient and cultural symbolism that is very beautiful, and it results in really beautiful colors. And they also use geometric shapes, and they mix them with organic shapes. So they'll have things with like waves that are next to the shape of honeycombs, which are more angular, and it just creates the most beautiful pattern. I gotta say, I probably those traditional Japanese patterns are probably my favorite type of pattern in the world that I've seen so far. I'm sure there's stuff I don't know. So this is the whole composition. Yay! Is Japanese kind of related to Islamic? I don't know. I don't know of any like overlapping. No, but I do love it because they actually have some patterns that have Islamic looking patterns in it, but then they mix it with also organic shapes like waves and clouds and like rocks and valleys, and it just looks so beautiful to see those geometric shapes next to earth-like shapes, and it looks so beautiful. Yaktan. I've always wanted to wear a kimono. Oh, you know, the old ancient kimonos are so beautiful. The patterns are stitched into the silk. So they actually create it, they weave it in a way that the pattern is stitched in. Sana, nice to see you. Jazakallah khair to you. But nowadays they usually make the kimono, then they print it with the pattern. But the old antique kimonos are made of silk, and it's like an ancient Japanese art. It's very beautiful. And it requires a lot of patience and training, and in an upcoming lesson I would love to. So I'm going to bid farewell to all of you. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I ask Allah to protect you, take care of you, look upon you, and love you. And shine his light upon you. I will see you in the next class. Wa alaikum assalam. Oh, Akita, look at work. Thank you for sharing. May Allah bless you. Bye, everyone.